What's up, guys? So, about a year ago, I used to do streams right before bed, so I decided that I would go back to it and just sort of just stare into the darkness to see if that helps me keep my thoughts a little straight. And something that hit my mind was when I was navigating the fabulous world of Twitter. I saw a post that asked, I think it was by the Washington Post, I forget, but basically it was asking for an opinion. Should government or federal workers just walk out from their jobs? And immediately my answer to that was hell yes, because the whole point of working, as far as I understand, is that people's time costs money. The whole reason you show up somewhere to exert yourself is because at the end of the day, you can count that you are going to make money, which money is a resource that allows you to obtain other resources. Now, of course, we might say, well, it's important that people still work regardless because we depend on goods and services, particularly services like, say, the hospital still needs to run, we still need to have cops and judges, and don't forget that this is a partial government shutdown, so I'm not entirely sure what exactly is affected during a partial government shutdown, but I know that stuff like parks end up getting littered because there's no one to, first of all, charge for the entrance, and second of all, pick up the mess. But it's not very difficult to understand why people, although these people are going to see, from what I understand, they're going to get that money refunded, that money that they lost, that is sort of in a backlog now, that does not compensate for the complications that them not receiving their money immediately every, let's say, every 2 weeks, which usually is how most people get paid, but there's people who get paid only once a month. What about the consequences of you not making your money and bringing it home so you can pay your bills? No one is really thinking about that, at least not on the government level, I'm afraid. And if someone is thinking about it, I feel like they're not thinking about it hard enough. So I'm just saying, if I were someone being affected by the government shutdown, all right, yes, I can count on my money coming back to me at some point. But what good is that money going to be for me when in the meantime my life is getting complicated by the second because, say, my payments are delayed, and anytime you have late payments, that stuff incurs fees because bills do not wait for your paycheck to arrive. And you guys know that I understand that quite well, considering the story about me and the bank that I shared the other day. But you getting your money back is not going to compensate for all those financial troubles that are going to haunt you. Some people may even need to vacate their homes because what if you're single? What if you do not have the support of a spouse? What are you going to do? What if you depended on your money week after week or every 2 weeks, whatever cycle you're on? What if you depended on that? So if someone decides to walk out of their federal job to do a job where they can count on money arriving, I damn right support it because you have to live with something. So, of course, it is an option that, from what the little bit that I read about, that these folks have, but I just think it's odd that we're asking that question. Yeah, I guess, say, the TSA workers who keep calling out or whatever. Yeah, that puts our security at risk at airports, but can you really blame these people? These people are not robotic, they are humans with necessities, and necessities are taken care of with money. So it is not very difficult to understand why these people do not care to show up to a job where they cannot count on them getting paid for their time. Life does not stop for them because of the government shutdown. Bills do not wait for you to get your money, for you to get your paycheck. It does not work like that. So, again, I understand why this is particularly troubling because there are certain positions that should not be left vacant. But of course, people need to go and do things to where they can count on having money, even if that money is going to be paid back to them. So, what about the fees, extra fees that they have to pay, and their record, their credit, the bureau credit report, whatever it's called? That's going to be affected for some of these people because they did not make payments when they needed to, or some payments were delayed. They're not getting a little bonus for the time that they were not getting paid to compensate for all of that. And I don't think that these businesses particularly care for you to say, oh, I was a victim of the government shutdown, therefore you cannot penalize me. Of course not. So, for me to have read that, the fact that they were asking the question of should federal workers walk out because they're not getting paid or they're not counting on their payment when it's supposed to be due. Of course, they need to go. Remember, you're a person with responsibilities and whatnot, so I think it's crazy. It's good to see the benevolence of some individuals, though. I keep seeing trends about places that are opening their doors to feed those who are not making their money. I think that's pretty cool. Like, I like to see charity stuff being done, but anyways, I just think it's a complication that we shouldn't be dealing with. Um, and what can I say? Especially this day and age when everything keeps getting more expensive, we need to spend more time at our jobs to be able to sort of afford living decently. And this is assuming that you have a at least you're a few dollars above minimum wage, because if you happen to be minimum wage, then your portrait is even grimmer than that. But what can I say? I mean, this is just my opinion. I'm just keeping it pretty brief, but I'm basing it off that little question. So I just thought that I would ramble about it. I might catch up with some comments now. Hello, Jordan. Government shutdown is very crazy, and nowadays love banks love taking people's credit cards. Yeah, when you pay stuff in credit, you're using the bank's money, and the way they make their stupid money is through incredibly outrageous interest rates, and for some reason, your savings interest rate has to be the smallest fraction possible. I think that's insane, but anyways, I guess the idea is for them to make money, of course, and they're not trying to give you a greater interest rate on your savings. GM Powertrain is taking people's money to make an extra $1 million, so hungry. What happened? The employees messing up their business. Thoughts about work? It sucks. Absolutely. I think that work should be something that you dedicate maybe 10 to 15 years of your life. But when you have to work 20, 25, 30, 35 years, I think that is absolutely excessive. I find it completely repulsive that, like, the end of my adolescence and already my 20s have been absorbed by work. It's like the only time you get to enjoy life is, let's assume that somehow you make it to retire at 55, 60, 65. You're old as shit and you're probably broken down and you need medical help. Like something is wrong with your body because it starts to break down, that is when you're supposed to enjoy life to the fullest. I think that's crazy. And also, while you're young, of course, you're young, well, I'm going to say this very loosely, but you're fit to, you have more energy, more strength, more resistance. But that does not make it right for your youth to be spent either in four walls or just exerting yourself. And at the end of the day, you end up depressed as hell because you're like, well, what's really the point about what I'm doing? At the end of the day, if something happens to you, you can be replaced. So if your role in society were indispensable, then okay, I get it. Just bear with it. But when you're easily replaceable, I don't think that the meaning of productivity and the importance of things is very well defined in modern days. But who am I to say this? But I'm just saying. I like to spend time thinking and observing, and now that I am still young, years ahead, I'm going to look back at this time and I'm going to say, wow, I wasted a lot of time being depressed, feeling down, not going out there exploring the world with whatever free time I had. I spent it being tired, being sick, being upset about some things, and just not wanting to go out and see things. But that's on me, right? But I just, while I'm here, I like to think about things, and maybe in the future, me being conscious about how my present time being wasted is going to affect me later. I think it'll help me accept it better when I get old and not be resentful of myself, because there's no turning back. There's nothing I can do to correct the fact that that time that I am living now, I'm not living to the fullest, but it's all right. It'll be fine. I just wish that I don't like to whine and complain, but sometimes I'm just lost and I don't feel well. And sometimes I feel like it's more my mental state about how much I overthink things, and I just feel giving. I just feel like giving up, but I know I won't. I try not to, but anyway, sorry guys, I'm just rambling. I'm not gonna lie, I have been struggling with some things, and next month, hopefully, I'll be able to find out what's gonna happen with some stuff in my life. I'll be sure to keep y'all posted. It's probably gonna be a boring topic, but my life is kind of changing a little too fast for me, faster than I can keep track of, and I'm kind of scared, but yeah, yeah, I'm kind of worried, but we won't worry until we get there. Let's see. This weekend they are giving extra food stamps this weekend. You know what? That's good. I hope that those food stamps really make it to the right people, and that the right people invest it properly. And let me say why I say that. I say that because I know people on food stamps who I consider do not invest their money properly. It's like, okay, you're on food stamps, but for some reason you're shopping at the mall. Why are you shopping at the mall? What do you have to do at the mall buying stupid designer shoes and junk? See what I mean? What are your values? Where are your priorities? Now, maybe these people have saved up for that. Maybe it's a special occasion and they're like, okay, let me set aside $3 every paycheck for however many months so that I can facilitate the way that I make that investment. But still, there's a lot of things that I personally say, you know what? I would like to treat myself, but I'm going to be responsible. I'm not going to complicate my life spending money as opposed to investing it in how to improve my life. See what I mean? So, like I say, I just want to make it clear. I'm not trying to like criticize the way people live. People can do whatever with their resources, but I'm just saying, if you're going to be the person who irresponsibly spends their money and then you're going to be whining later about how tough it is for you, how difficult it is for you, how much you're struggling, how broke you are, and you cannot even contribute a few cents to, I don't know, some cause, like, say, the food banks during the holidays so that they can feed needy families, then, I would love to side with you, but I cannot have any respect for you when you are not using the system's resources to your advantage. So I'm just saying, I'm just putting it out there. Let's see, where am I at? Back in the 30s, all business of people lost their money. Rich people started killing themselves. A very true story. So sad, I've seen it on TV. Big Brother want to control all the money. Hello, love. Hey, Garuda, it's so good to see you. I would take a bullet for you. Oh, wow. I'm not sure how to react to that, but I appreciate that. Sometimes, okay, guys, I'm going to share a story with you. The other day, I had a very difficult day emotionally, and it was because something happened with some people who I'm close with, and it left me feeling very, very down, very, very depressed. I was a sad cookie. And then someone caught me just being emotional. I was just crying. I was still trying to focus on my tasks at hand, but I was like crying. I was miserable. And then the person who saw me, they were like, Zam, what's wrong? A moment ago, you were fine. You were having a good time. We were having a blast. And now you're here in this little room all by yourself. And I realized that you're not fine. What happened? And I was like, well, sometimes I just feel like nobody loves me. And I know that that's not true. Like, I have my mother, and I have my boyfriend, and I have my best friend, and I have you guys who, you know, those of you who are always here for me, and you guys are like rooting for me, and you're my fans, and you support me, etc., etc. But it's like I still felt that void. And my dad, you guys know that me and my dad, we're not like tight or anything, but we have been kind of slowly, little by little, trying to connect and reconnect. But I'm not gonna lie, guys, it's been so fucking awkward. I'm just not used to having him, I'm not used to talking to him. And of course, you need to start from somewhere. But I'm just not used to it, and it makes me very anxious. I just get nervous. It's like, how can I properly address this guy? How can I, this is my dad. It should not be that tough. But it is tough because to me, unfortunately, he has been absent in my life. He is a stranger. I cannot just treat him like he is my best friend, my best buddy, my mate, this and that, because, we're not close like that. So we're working on that. We're trying to progress on that. I'll make sure to inform you guys in it, but I just whew, it's like everything is happening at the same time. So if any of you guys see me on Twitter, I keep tweeting about it. I'm like, I don't feel good. Everything bad happens at the same time, or this and that. It's like I'm just, yeah, it's like everything bad is just happening at the same time. But don't worry, guys. I'm still gonna be here. I'm still going to get up at 5 a.m. to show up to my job and still conquer the world however I can. But it gets tough sometimes because it's like I just lose myself a little bit, and I'm like, let me not forget to like take care of myself, because sometimes I forget, sometimes I don't eat well, sometimes I end up going to bed really, really, really late, and sometimes I don't even exercise right, and I just yeah. So, anyways, this is just my midlife crisis in like my 20s. But anyways, I don't like to just bitch and complain, but just I like to admit that I'm struggling, no matter how pitiful the issue is. I just like to like express it, even if it takes me a long time to bring it up. But that's what's been happening. If you guys have noticed my channel behavior being a little different, like me missing days of streaming or keeping them brief, it's because I just cannot even formulate a sentence half of the time. And this is the most chill I have been in a while. So yeah, and Garuda for a bit heavy lady. Oh, thanks so much for the donation. I know I saw something red like with the corner of my eye a moment ago, but I just kept talking and talking and talking. I just needed to let it out, and I was just like drowning in my thoughts and my ramblings. I appreciate that so much, Garuda. It means so well to me. It'll be very, very, very handy, and you'll know exactly why because the story is I'll express it at some point. But yeah, I appreciate that so much. That's so sweet of you. Oh my god, it's really, really humbling for me. I appreciate that you would think of me and share things with me, you know? Thanks so much. That makes me feel so well. Thank you. I'm not even sure what to say. Just thank you so much. I heard they are making robots at the fast food places don't have to pay humans anymore. Everything about computers. Yeah, you ever been to some of the newer McDonald's? Like McDonald's keep getting it remodeled, but they have like this tall screen right across from the register, and it looks exactly like the McDonald's app. So, except a million times messier. And they're supposed to have like Apple Pay and you can pay by scanning your phone or some shit. And yeah, it's like very clearly they're trying to replace the human labor. That's the push these days. But this is a topic that I want to reserve for another stream so that we can really broadly explore it. But what's going to happen to the people who were only capable of holding jobs that were considered entry level that the robots are replacing? There's going to be a lot of people who are going to be displaced when it comes to jobs. And financially, that's going to be a very, very bad thing. What's going to happen to those people? You cannot just expect for them to just jump right into school and get a license or educated or just become suddenly, what's the word? Become skilled enough at something for them to get a new job. That just does not happen that way, you know? Especially, let's say that you've been, what's something getting replaced by robots? Hell, I don't know. Let's say you've been a factory worker of some sort and you've been in that position for years and years and years and years. That's all the skills that you know. So, where are you going to be wanted at? What kind of resume are you going to show? Because unfortunately, we're still going to need to be dependent on someone paying us. And some people along the way, they may get creative and come up with a business that gives them enough money. Like some people have grinds that really help them, but you cannot expect for that to be the way that people just maintain maintain themselves, you know? What about paid time off? What about the benefits of health insurance and whatnot if you happen to be a full-time worker to where you're eligible for that stuff? You know, that's going to be a sea of people that are going to be hungry. They're going to need a roof. Some of them are going to be mad. Crazy things are going to happen. You know, so it really feels like we're headed for some truly deep and dark times. Because we keep looking at technology being implemented and we're like, ooh, that's exciting. Look at this automatic vacuum cleaner. Look at this machine that can do stuff for us. But basically, every time a machine gets put somewhere, someone lost their job. A human that actually needs money to be able to sustain themselves. We are displacing that person. What's going to happen to them, you know? So, anyways, we'll explore that at another time. I won't let it happen. I won't get it. Wait, what? Garuda, you're tripping, dude. I'm sorry, Zamri. Everything will be alright. It's important to be free to find out me. Sorry, it's alright, and your stories are never boring. I don't do government money. Yes, people are having tough nowadays. Hi, cute lady. I love you. We can be friends. Absolutely. Jesus loves you, your family, your friends. You love your amazing. We love you, your boyfriend. You're too amazing to me, and it's important to love yourself. It's not judging. I'm just telling it like it is. You are a gem. Yeah, honestly, guys, look, I gotta be completely transparent about my story. The problem with me when I talk like that, when I'm like, I just feel lonely, nobody loves me, doesn't that? First of all, I am a woman. It comes with being a woman, being emotional. Not just playing, but some of it is true. But unfortunately for me, I have been feeling this way for a long time. And just like my friend who caught me crying in my own little room by myself, she was like, I know how you feel because I've been there. To this day, I still struggle with it. I know it's not true. I have to remind myself that it's not true. But they are just thoughts that pursue you constantly, and when you've lived like that for a long time, it just becomes. It's like you convince yourself that that's true, although you know it's not true. No matter how intelligent you are, how astute you are, how many degrees you have, that's just how you feel. Something has yet to happen to where you can let go of that mess. And I guess that's the stage in life that I'm in. It's like, come on, come on, age that I need to be for me to overcome this. And some people who are significantly older, they say that it never truly goes away. You just learn to handle it. And I'm like, please, how can I handle this already? I'm ready. But, it's all right. Just know that I'm aware when that stuff is happening. It's like, okay, here I am due for another round of crying, another round of feeling miserable for a day or two or a week or a month. Let me gain my 10 pounds. Then I'll get mad and I'll shed the pounds and I'll be like, no, this is the way it is. It's not true. What am I doing to myself? But until then, I'm just in the stage where I'm just feeling down, and then, little by little, just get back up. But isn't that crazy for any of you guys who have gone through that, where you just convince yourself that something is true, something harmful is true when it's not, and that it haunts you, and you just need to like overcome it. But anyways, I like I say, even if it takes me a long time, I end up reaching out, and eventually someone tells me the right thing that can help me get back on track, and like my team members, and they just help me. So, yeah. Sometimes you guys may leave a comment that you mentioned something that I'm like, ooh, I never thought about that. And then I get excited because I like to learn, and I start reading and researching and looking up videos and whatnot. And I'm like, huh, great. There's a lot of good stuff happening in the planet, a lot of grim stuff too, but I mean, gotta balance it out. I can cook though. I'm sorry about your father. I know it's not my business. He's missing a lifetime, timeless of you. You know what? My mother, Jordan, says the same thing. And I think the reason he is trying to make his approach now is because he is realizing that, and deep down, he probably has felt that way all his life. But what can I say? Uh, he always will have the door to my house open. It's always been open for him. But it's just that you guys know how I say that if you were to meet me, and you have a certain expectation of me, I'll probably be a letdown because I'm shy as hell and I'm awkward and I just don't know what to say. Although here I can talk for endless hours, but that's the stage that I'm in with my dad. It's like, what can I say to him? Okay, he's a pilot, he's a cop, he's this and that. I can start a conversation from that, but it's just awkward. It's like a knot just forms on my throat, and I just cannot say anything. And all I want to do is be more of a listener. Sometimes I like to be the talker. Sometimes I like to be the listener. Sometimes I don't want to hear anything. Sometimes I just want to take off my ears. But, it's life is a psychological game. I am aware, but I just, I don't know. It's like my brain feels like noodles right now. Everything is just tangled. What food do you need? I can cook, lady. Oh, well, what do you have to offer? Well, what is your favorite thing to cook? I feel like I have asked that before, but it's been a long time. So, everybody, tell me what's your favorite dish? Mine has to be. Good Lord, what do I like? You know what? How about if I just mention the thing that I fell in love with in recent times, and that was about 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I discovered basil pesto, and I just love everything pesto. I like pizza that is chicken and pesto with onions, and the base is pesto. And I also like pesto in sandwiches because chicken and pesto sandwiches are just great. Um, and I like I, I saw something about curry. Oh, curry chicken. Oh my god, yes, curry chicken. The tikka masala is good too. Ooh, have you guys ever heard of something called spinach dal? DAL. It's supposed to be an Indian kind of recipe. Basically, it's spinach and it has this creaminess to it. Shoot. Sorry, I don't know what are the ingredients in it, but spinach dal is just awesome. You guys need to try it. That mug is just delicious. Let's see, where am I at? I can cook the. Okay, you can tell us anything, what you feel, Zambri. I'm so grateful for that because honestly, that was the whole point of this channel. It was to replace my journal. I would tell my journal what was happening to me, but it wasn't helping anymore. And then I said, you know what? I like to create something. So how about if I just create videos? Create. So that's why sometimes I upload every once in a while. I may come up with an idea to like vlog about like the stupid snake idea. I was at the supermarket the other day and I saw that one snake and I'm like, oh, wait. Why do I never play with Dusty? I'm such a terrible pet owner. I just don't have the time for him. And even if I have time to just kill, I don't I don't give him any attention and then I wonder why he's so rebellious, you know? So I'm trying to be better with my relationship with him, but it's just tough sometimes. So he's just being a cat. Anytime he does something that upsets me, I tell myself, he's just being a cat. A cat that's kind of neglected. I need to get better at, giving him attention and playing with him. But now that the holiday season is over, like I feel better. I feel like I can count on my time and I'm not as tired. But but yeah, a few months ago, starting like November, that was a bad time for me. So I'm sort of slowly but surely getting it together. Let's see, socialism. What happens to the people who get replaced by robots? They're going to get fucked. Yep, yep. I am close to jack of all trades. McDonald's are cheap, hating to pay people more money on employees' checks. McDonald's are worth $755 billion behind Walt Disney. Zambri, they are worth $755 billion and they're still cheap. Tell me about it. Not only that, but they could literally afford to make their entire menu be as clean as possible with legit ingredients, and they are just half-assedly going at it. Like they have some things that claim to not have preservatives and whatnot, like their little chicken tenders. You know what I'm talking about? They're like, oh, I made a video about them with the barbecue glaze. But if you get the plain ones, they're supposed to be free of junk unless you get the sauce. And then the sauce has all kinds of bullshit ingredients in it. Yeah, yep, yep. I am lady. I can lift up a car and fighter jet. I what? I'm tripping. I'm a man. I cry too. I was in the military. Oh, that's awesome. You just gained extra points. I have a massive load of infinite respect for folks who have served. I love females. Females loved when I was fighting in the military. Oh, look at that. I just literally got through saying that, what did I say? Oh, yeah, that I respect folks who have served. I used to punch men in the ribs. Why did you decide to work instead of going to college? Because, Zach, I thought that my situation was too unstable, especially financially. Like my family, we're definitely not rich, to where it became necessary for me to have a job and focus on a job as opposed to going to school. And also, when I finished high school, guys, I'm going to enter a whiny mode, but I was just mentally fatigued. I was bored. I was depressed. I was just tired of the academic setting. And on top of that, I needed money. So I was worried about how I was going to survive college. I tried filling out the FAFSA application, and that thing was confusing. I did not have some information available. I no longer had access to my guidance counselor, and I was just too stressed to where I did not have the brain to even think about college. And the application process itself, it was daunting. I was like, wait, I have to write an essay. I have to compete against thousands of other people to make it into the institution. Basically, all of those little things that, the competitive aspect of going to college, it intimidated the hell out of me because I was in a very vulnerable, sensitive stage. I was just tired. I wanted to do something different, and I know I have heard this a lot. I know that the college setting is different. It's more challenging. People are more genuine because they're not there wasting their time. They're paying for their education, so they're more likely to take it more seriously and whatnot. Yada yada yada. But for me, I don't like to immerse myself into something that I am not going to be giving my best to. I was not in the emotional, mental, or financial shape to be going to college. And I was also worried about the topic of student debt. All I kept hearing is, oh, take loans for this, get a scholarship for that. No amount of, for instance, I was not applying for scholarships because I'm like, I know that I'm not going to college. I'm not feeling it. So by me not applying for scholarships back in the day, I know, well, sorry, I was aware that I was setting myself up for challenges in the future, but I just did not want to deal with any of that. And the scholarships that I would have been eligible for to apply to, they were not very financially impressive. And what I mean by that is that I know that any money that doesn't come out of my pocket is good, but they seem to be only giving me a few couple of dollars. Let's say a year in college costs an average of what is it now? $25,000? Let's say $30,000. $30,000 versus little scholarships that only grant me $100, $500. Like I had to, the main ones, the big ones, they were pretty much out of my reach because I was not eligible for it. Say I did not play a sport, or I was not someone with the right grades for some things, or I did not have the community service. Basically, stuff like that. So I said to myself, you know what? Forget it. I am not going to go into lands that I am not familiar with. So going to college, I said, unless I know for a fact that I will walk out with either no debt or minimal debt, minimal being maybe $8,000 on student loans, I am not going to do it. Especially when I knew that I was going to be competing in a, what is it, job market where even old people who have experience, they are looking for jobs. They need to work because they need money. What chances do I have as the young person fresh out of college without experience when everybody is looking for someone who has experience? So I said, how about if I just slowly but surely introduce myself to having a job? Let me start with the very, very basics. Can I show up to my job? Do I have a reliable transportation to show up to my job? How do I perform at a job setting? How am I when it comes to communicating with people? Can I handle that? Am I good at that? Can I handle obeying a schedule? What do I know about having a job? What are my rights? How do I file taxes? Etc. etc. So basically, I decided I'm going to make money, period. No matter how modest it is, let me start life little by little. And it helped a lot. I do not regret the path that I have taken at all. My life could be better. I am aware. But when I think about what would have happened to me during college, I would have been miserable, more miserable than I already was. So I was trying to just be responsible. My mother could not help me a lot when it came to the process of eh, transitioning into the college lifestyle because she was like, well, back in my day when I went to college, this is what happened, this is what you did. And I'm like, Mom, that's not how stuff is at all these days. So it was just my mother and I. We were alone. She was always at work. When did I get to count on her? I did not want to make a decision that I did not feel corresponded to a 17-year-old at the time. You are endorsing the responsibility to a 17-year-old about getting into debt. I was not mentally mature enough for me to comprehend what that meant. See what I mean? So yeah, yeah. That's why I didn't go to college. I hope that it made it clear. I think I made a video on that a long time ago. Or maybe it's one of those things that I talked about in a stream, but I didn't put it in the title. But basically, that's what was in my mind. If you don't want to answer, it's completely fine. Oh, you better believe I answered that one. How about this? I am a man, you're a chick. I don't care about the delicious, sexy female you have. I like your grown nipple. I will be praying for y'all. Be so nice. Y'all making video together, hanging out, and more fun times. Curry chicken. Exposed. I don't like Spain food. Huh. What is Spain's food like? I should know this because, good God, my paternal grandfather is from Spain or was from Spain, but I never met him. So, I heard of something called the paella. Ya, la. No, it's ya. Paella. I know it's some kind of. What is the paella? Is it some kind of rice? Fish? I forgot what a paella is. I'm a terrible person. I'm a terrible granddaughter. Granddaddy, if you ever meet me spiritually, yeah, I don't know nothing about Spain. Talking about food like this gets me wanting to pack on the pounds. What the fuck you doing to me? May I suggest a loaded chocolate milkshake, which I haven't had in ages. Don't worry, this video is not sponsored. I love old cats, super cute. Do more cat videos with Dusty. Hey, I remember, I think many, many months ago when I introduced Dusty, weren't you the one who said that you love the Dusty videos and you're here for Dusty, something like that? If it wasn't you, then it was, I forget his name. I remember his picture. But he used to leave comments under Dusty videos all the time. I am bending over robots. Ain't no robot will bend me over. McDonald's agrees with Sam, and yes, I have heard about the food, but I cannot even eat well no more. Changing to eat well. That's good. You are legendary IQ. I can spank any college kid with brain power. Be so cool that college should be free education, that people want to do something with their lives or be so cool. Yeah, I feel like some people do have the intention of not being bums in their lives. They want to do something great, but some people just don't know how to go about it. That's kind of the stage I am in. It's like I have some ideas of what I would like to do with my life and my time, but how do I get there? But then there's this complication and that other complication, and this is taking up my time, and I'm tired and I'm sick and this and that. So basically, I get so overwhelmed that I pretty much shut down. That's all it is. I become mentally inefficient. And when I am mentally in a shock like that, I just do not like to make decisions because I feel like I am not in full use of my faculties. So, to avoid disaster from happening, I'm like, let me wait until I recover and let me just struggle whatever it is that I need to struggle, and I'll learn and then, give myself a fresh start. Alright, guys, I am going to sort of breeze through the rest of the comments because I see that it's already way past midnight and your girl needs to get up in 5 hours. So, yeah. La, 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 la. Your high school guidance counselors failed you. Oh, yes, they did. They failed me because, first of all, our school was huge, and each guidance counselor, we had, how many did we have? I want to say we had four guidance counselors. And our school was pretty big. Like, there's a lot of people in there. So they just did not have the manpower to like deal with everyone who had questions, and sometimes I would try to talk to my counselor and maybe I had an AP class that I could not get out of, or other times it was they were unavailable, sometimes they were in meetings. So yeah, if you guys went to school more than a decade ago or so, you had better advice and better chances. But at least in my school, no, no. They should have helped you with FAFSA in your senior year, and they only talked about the loans but not the grants. They have you they gave you some pessimistic info. And you know what? I learned about grants because a teacher just so happened to mention them. And then he explained the difference between that and loans, and he was imploring us to stay away from loans because, of course, they're the things that have interest rates and whatnot. But on the note of my guidance counselor, she tried, but again, some of it was my fault because I had made the decision that I was not going to college because I was just lost, confused, overwhelmed, and alone. And my counselor did mention the FAFSA, but she said I need to do it at home because mom needs to help me with some things. And then I told mom about it, and then mom said, fill out as much as you can, and anything you cannot do uh, on the weekend or something, we'll deal with it. And then I would see my mom tired, stressed, and then I was just too scared to bring it up to her. So a lot of it was my fault because I decided to not push myself, be going to my guidance counselor every day or going to my mom every day, even if it's for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I did not put in the work, so I failed myself. I gotta admit it. Hi, Zambri. Great to see you again. Always interesting to hear your opinions. Hello, Holger. I do want to go to college like 2 years or maybe a year to learn films, but never to party. My party is taking care of business. Yeah, yeah, that's fair. That's exactly how I would be in school. That's how I was. That's how I was as a student. I was never out anywhere. And being in college, that worried me sometimes because I felt that I might have a hard time socializing. And I understand that some things you just need to do as a group effort. But, anyways, I mean, I wouldn't know until I got there, you know? I am an autodidact. I joined the military. I had a higher IQ than college kids. I had an IQ of 107. Education is still free. I believe in you, Zamri. You can make it, and nothing wrong with money. Saving money, doing business with your money, you're blessed. It's college, not collage. Trap house for young people. You still can go to college whenever you get the time doing what you want. It's the best thing in life. Oh, absolutely. I hear of folks who are like 40, 50, 60 years old and they go to school. Yep. Do you believe in taking accountability for your actions? I feel like most people are always blaming the devil for their wrong actions, and it's extremely frustrating. People need to own up. Yep. Yep. Like with the what can I say? The FAFSA stuff that I was just talking about. I absolutely feel like I crapped on myself. I did not what can I say? I did not give my best during those times. And I own it. Can I rob your back and buy you a wedding ring? Sure, because my back is sore. And on the note of the wedding ring, me. When are we getting married? You didn't fail, Zamri. You're epic. People are chastising R. Kelly, but still listening to his music. Like, what the hell? Oh, yeah, that R. Kelly guy. I have not seen or heard, what is it? Anything from the, what is it? A show? A 60 minutes type of deal? 5 episodes? What is it? Anyways, I haven't seen anything about it, but I know that people were upset about our home girl whose birthday would have been yesterday 40th birthday, Aaliyah. Uh, Honestly, I don't know him that well, so I cannot opine on the matter. But at some point, I will get curious, so I will look into it. Sorry, I spelled college wrong. I meant college. Oh, it's cool. Shoot, I misspell stuff all the time. Alright, guys, well, I am going to declare this my stopping point since it's like, what, 12:26? I'm going to add a minute to Jordan's comment. And yeah, I better try to sleep. I am not sleepy at all, of course. Looking at the screen is not making it better, but But thank you guys so much for joining me. It was great talking to you. I had no idea just how much stuff I had to get out of my system. And I will keep you guys posted as much as I can. I love doing this. I love being here. I love rambling and hearing you guys hanging out. So yeah, I shall be back as soon as I can. I am 32. I've seen R. Kelly pee on a girl. Oh goodness, I heard something about that. Ugh. Anyways, all right, guys. Do you have Instagram? I do, but I literally never ever use it. I get emails of it trying to like, what is it? Talk me into logging in and whatnot, but I just did not like